But
Okay, I've got some kits.
show me your kits. Show me your
AIRFIX
wares.
kits. We don't show you very many AIRFIX kits.
Why not?
I think it's because they're actually not that easy to come by. There's like a shortage. But we've got some new stuff. This is like a restock and a reissue. So AIRFIX has been around for a very long time. Mr. Tamiya, before he started Tamiya plastic model kits, used to go into Tokyo to buy his AIRFIX kits after World War II. So that influenced his desire to build plastic kits. That was like cutting edge at the time.
Did he think these are crap? I'm going to make better ones.
No, he said these are fantastic, but they're really hard to come by and they're really expensive. I'm going to make my own. That's right. So he's actually come about and made phenomenal product. Tamiya famous worldwide. And then you got AIRFIX. So AIRFIX was cutting edge back then.
Yes.
Then it got to a stage where they didn't really innovate.
No.
And so even up to this time, they've been reproducing a lot of their old kits. So they became
But that's
sort of
the
known.
beauty in making a World War II, like, it's always going to be that plane, no?
It will be.
Yes.
But the quality of it is still at that time.
Yes.
And the technology has improved. So they were a bit agricultural back then. Cutting edge back then, but it's still agricultural. And they never progressed much. So even up to the 60s, 70s, 80s, I can still remember selling the very early AIRFIX kits. And the people that would buy them had a nostalgia value to them.
Oh.
But AIRFIX realized that they need to come up with some new designs and new tooling. And that's where in the 90s and 2000s, they started reproducing stuff, like remaking.
Rejigging.
And this is one of the later kits. So quite new. So when they started remaking stuff, I'll call that the renaissance of AIRFIX.
Renaissance of AIRFIX.
The renaissance.
How cultured of you.
And I'll show you what renaissance looks like, because there's an earlier kit here. And this is quite new. It's only from a couple of years ago. This I'll call post-renaissance. What? You need these categories, right? So people understand sort of timing of things, right? So you got this stuff here. Let's go through the top. Ooh. And this was only a few years ago. So this is a 48 scale Tiger Moth. And Tiger Moths are really, really famous, and they're still flying today. These are actually the first around the place. There's a few in Australia, everywhere around the world. They were first designed in the 1930s, and they were the best plane that de Havilland built at that time. And it was good timing because with the war coming, the Second World War, they needed training aircraft like this to train pilots to get them ready for the upcoming war, and the war ended up being really long. So they actually had a lot of these going around training pilots. And it's so good they're still flying around training pilots now. So this particular kit was, it says here, 2019.
2019.
Yeah, so it's quite a new kit.
It's a one-bag wonder.
Now the difference you're going to see
is... you've been in there.
I've prepped it. It is quite a lot sharper than the early kits. And the way they've designed it, so for instance, the wings, so it's a biplane. So it'll have two wings, right?
Looks like it needs to be redoped.
Redoped? Why is that?
Because it's got a sag in between the ribs.
No, that's from tensioning.
Oh.
Yeah, because they've already doped it and it's gone.
Yep.
You understand that? You've experienced that, haven't you?
Yep.
So in a really old kit, they normally wouldn't be able to mold them perfectly on both sides because you have shrinkage and stuff, and you end up with all these shrinkage marks.
That's the last thing you want with
That's right. But with this modern mold, they've actually molded them all in one piece. So you don't have to worry about filling in any parts from a fillet that you had to add. And it's got really nice surface detail. And there's that sag you were talking about, right?
Yes.
You've got that rib sag, beautifully done. Even that finer rib sag across the front. And then when we go to something like the fuselage,
was the fuselage made from paper too?
The fabric.
Fabric.
Yeah. Yeah, you can poke holes in it. Probably don't want to. And there you go.
Well, it's only to hold you in there.
See that? You see the surface detail on that too?
It's like a flipper.
So the really old stuff, they wouldn't have bothered to do it that fine.
And you wouldn't have those little dongers.
No. And you probably wouldn't have an engraved line. It would probably be a proud panel line. So this is really nice. Okay, so really popular kit. So Tiger Moth is back.
Tiger Moth.
Classical. So the Tiger Moth that was first released was actually a different livery. So this is a rebox with slightly different decals. The
New
same,
decals.
same nice kit. Oh, there's the other thing they've done. They've actually weighted the tires.
Oh, you know that's my favourite feature. I will not build a kit without weighted wheels.
You like weighted wheels, don't you?
Well, it saves me having to get out the heat gun and bending them.
That's right. Or
That's traditionally what I do.
Some people used to put them on electric stoves.
Yeah,
melt 'em.
Nan gets upset.
Because it leaves that little mark and the plastic burning.
That's right.
Yep.
It smells for years.
That's it. That's it. So there you go. So there's your Tiger Moth. So pretty good, yeah?
All right, now show us something vintage.
You want something a bit older?
Is that what you're going to show me?
Yeah, I'm going to show you something from Renaissance. It's not vintage, it's Renaissance. So this one's 2006.
Renaissance.
And you'll see, there you go. Renaissance, post-Renaissance. So you can even see the box art is a bit old school. But this is 2006.
2006.
Yep.
Right, and we've still got it in stock.
Just came back.
Oh, so it's the same thing. Oh, so they just reboxed. Yeah. Right.
So this hasn't been around for a little bit.
Lifeboat.
So this is a search rescue boat. So designed to go into the really choppy seas of the Atlantic.
Yeah, nice.
Nice. There you go.
Yeah.
Put it over there. All right, let's have a look. So it's a little bit chunkier.
Looks like the same bag.
But what you're going to find is, so this is Renaissance in that it's a fairly new cut mold, like when they started recutting them. But you can see how it...
The cardboard box smells very familiar.
Doesn't it? It's a bit chunky. And it's not polished as cleanly. You feel it? And that could be part of the mold starting to wear as well. It's not as refined as the new stuff. So the detail's a bit rounder. So I'll get in there. So you see things like this. Not as sharp.
The plastic actually looks different. The other plastic looked a little bit more matte. This looks a little bit more glossy.
I think that's got to do with the mold. And you can see how the mold is, it's actually quite thick. So less care on the earlier stuff, but still there was a new mold. But when you compare it to the newer stuff, and I will have some newer stuff to show you, there's a brand new one I've got here.
Brand new.
Brand new. So just released now. So still decent, but not as crisp. That's basically what you're looking for, isn't it? The newer stuff should be crisper.
Crisp like linen.
Like linen, there you go. So there's your little boatie. Just chuck it back in there. What you look at it? Let's look at the brand new spanking one, right?
Show me the brand new spanker.
Here's a brand new spanker. Brand new tooling. Absolutely modern.
Modern.
It's not a modern aircraft. So the B-24 is quite a popular aircraft from World War II, bomber. But this is all fresh tooling.
The
And
Liberator.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure the decals are by... I don't say the decals are by Cartograph. I thought the decals were by Cartograph. We will find out.
So this is the new of the new.
Newest. Newest of the new.
Is this what you're building for next year's Model Expo?
I'm not going to promise anything.
How's your Fiat coming along?
It's not.
You've had a couple of weeks.
Haven't I? I looked at it. It's in the same spot I left it. So here we go. This is brand spanking new.
I can see through it. It's that thin.
That's right. That's right. So certain areas, it's used less material, so it's more scale. And also has interior detail, the ribbing, which we'll see shortly when let's put this aside. We'll only look at this sprue, and this will, from this, you'll be able to see the differences. Let's get that zoomed down.
Show me.
Okay, so here's a brand new B-24.
Box smells the same.
Doesn't it? You got super smooth engraved panel lines.
Yes.
And also rivet detail. It's all the way across here as well. And this looks just as good as any of the Japanese kits now. And that's what that's what they're competing with. See that?
It's beautiful.
Even along here.
It's a good thing.
All along these really fine rivet.
Yeah.
Super smooth. And when we go to these vertical stabilizers, just look at how much rivets and engraved detail, and then also the ribbing.
Many rivets.
Isn't it? And you can tell just by the sprue, it's quite fine.
That's not a chunker munker.
No. That's right. You don't want to chuck them back. And then on the inside, look at all that. You've got interior detail. And to be able to achieve all that, it's actually quite thin plastic now. And that is their newer stuff. Post-Renaissance.
There you go.
That's what I call it anyway.
Well, I'm glad you call it that, because it still does not make sense to me whatsoever.
Doesn't it? Oh, you
but
got
I can
to
see
get
that
into
it's
art.
good. Well, I am.
So you can see the difference, right?
I'm definitely an artist.
Yep.